will be sending to us Aggressor for the face-off today. Gentlemen, welcome. Well, hey, Comps, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Let's start with the question of the day. Most underrated Tier 10 tank. Comps, you're first.
Underrated Tier 10 tank, I'd have to say probably, well, it used to be the mouse, but now it's really overrated. I'd go with the Type 5 just because it's RNG based. It could be a difference maker or it can totally suck, but it's, dependent on the RNG gods.
That's a good one, because a lot of people are definitely saying the Type 5 doesn't have what it takes, but then others are on the other side of the fence. Aggressor, what do you think about underrated Tier 10s?
I had to think. I guess like the FE183. I mean, it was kind of broken, then got nerfed.
And now
they can one-shot a tank, so it's kind of broken still.
So people don't respect it for what it is. I see that a lot.
I guess.
From time to time. All right, so Comps, you guys are clearly the first place team, your favorite today, but Dare is currently in second, and they've been playing fairly well. What do you guys do to prepare for a team like this that's looking to counter you, probably?
We prepare the same way we prepare for every team. Just practice, study what they do, make sure we don't make any mistakes, and just plan forward so that we can just play our game the way we play it.
Always the classical man, Mr. Comps. Aggressor,
so looking over at you right now, Dare, you guys started off the season pretty strong. You had your ups and downs. Has this season gone the way that you felt it would now that we're here at the last regular season match day?
No.
Well, let's expand on that. Why not?
I mean, definitely a lot of games we should have won that we didn't win that put us behind. If we would have won those, we wouldn't be in this situation right now, but because we threw, we have to beat Apex, or, my bad, Elevate now.
We'll get used to it.
Yeah, I guess we'll get used to it.
All right, well, Aggressor, any final thoughts for Elevate and Comps?
It's a big match. I hope we win. Good luck. See who wins.
All right, Comps, Elevate, any shout-outs to your fans, whether it's the Elevate.org or Aggressor and Dare?
First of all, thanks to Elevate for providing us with this opportunity. And, make sure you check them out on social media and whatnot. And to Aggressor, well, good luck and have fun.
All right, awesome, guys.
Comps.
We'll see you guys on the battlefield.
Thank you so much.
See
All right.
ya.
It's going to be a tight one, I think. You can hear it. Comps is obviously confident. Elevate's got to be confident. They've been playing so well. Dare, on the other hand, looks good, but next to Elevate, who really is the mountaintop, I mean, it's hard to measure up right now. It's like when I try to stand next to you. You're 6'4", I'm about 5'10". It doesn't matter. I'm an average height human being, and I'm just average height. I look like people were calling me a hobbit next to you on the Facebook Live thing. So, it's contrast is what it is. Because Dare's still one of the best teams in North America.
You put me next to Shaq, and all of a sudden I look short.
Exactly. So you put Dare, a team which is quality, right up against Elevate. And instead of sounding cool, confident, and collected like Aggressor usually does, on that face-off, he looks a little bit cooler and calmer. Like, his ego is a little bit more in check. Because he's up against a team that represents that much more than they do.
And the biggest change I want to glance over real quick, it's actually going to be Nitz moving to the bench today. I heard the rumor that he is sick, which is why he's not starting.
I saw that confirmed in chat earlier.
Yeah, but what that means, though, is when you have a player like Vetro sitting around on your bench, this is part of the reason why Nitz is on the bench, because now he's not like, hey, I have to play just because I'm sick, but I know I'm one of the starting seven, I need to step up. He knows, we have Vetro on the bench. Like, if I'm sick and I don't want to play today, I can take a day off and relax and recuperate and get healthy and just let Vetro play, because realistically, there's not going to be a drop-off between me and him, you'd have to think.
Yeah, it's one of those things where a lot of teams have to put up with the classical scenario where someone's sick and they're not on point that day. Because if you're sick often enough, you can at least operate a mouse and keyboard. But then when you sit there and you go, you know what? The performance drop that I'm going to suffer from being sick outweighs the fact that we've got a bomb roster. And yeah, I'm glad that they're able to make those changes, because that's an ideal for a team.
Yeah,
that's stability.
Especially trying to go forward to the Global Grand Finals with this sort of roster. They're going to be prepared. They're going to have a better chance than they've ever had to go compete at that global level coming up here soon.
Yep. And right now, Rockstar, it looks like we're about to get into battle number one of this match, Elevate versus Dare Rising. Let's head straight to it.
Prokhorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the centre, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontation, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the centre. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
And here we go into battle number 1 with Apex, now known as Elevate, their first battle under the sponsorship. Vetro and IS4, External and Oxmathis, playing Mouses, Canadian Impact, Doma and Batchats, Wallhacks and the T95, and God Emperor Brett playing the Waffenträger Tier 9. Meanwhile, Dare Rising and IS7, 2 Mouses, 2 Batchats, and STRV 103B, and Chase Potato playing the Lorraine 155.
I like seeing the Lorraine 155 again. It's a solid choice, decent fire rate, and just enough damage that it matters. That's what I feel like the Lorraine is.
Yep. And the pick that I'm most intrigued by is this Tier 9 Waffle. The little tank right before the grill, commonly called the Waffle because the name sounds like waffle if you think it in English. Waffenträger, Waffle. But anyways.
Yeah, well, a lot of English speakers have trouble pronouncing the Waffen.
Yeah. And looking at it, though, consistent fire, 9.37 second reload, the way he currently has it configured with rations, very accurate, high camo, no armor. This thing has no idea what armor means. It's
not the point.
Yeah, but it's a great support tank. The problem is the second it starts taking fire, it's going to go down.
Now, why this over a grill? What does this bring enough that you're not worried about the loss of a grill, or is it that now that they've kind of nerfed the grill, bringing a Tier 9 here is makes a little bit more sense?
The Tier 9 is viable in this case, but the main reason why this Tier 9 becomes viable is because look at the other 9 that Elevate are bringing.
The T95. You're going to stick it right behind that armor.
You're going to stick it right behind that armor, and remember how teams have been pushing, say, 113s and Mouses down the one line to kind of eat the shells and lead the push? They now have this highly armored tank destroyer, which got a speed buff recently. It can now go 20 kilometers an hour to lead that push and be the tank that they all cover, and he can last for quite a while. Many people have seen the old video of Quickie Babies where the T-95 drives across the middle field of Malinovka.
Oh, classic situation.
Yeah.
We used to do that all the time. Take 3 of them in a platoon and roll out.
Yep, and so he's going to do the exact same thing here. He's going to go, all right, I know your guns are in front of me. An arty shot coming out here, lands short, does not connect with Oxmathis.
So you've got 2 Mouse going up to the middle right now. And with that, you're going to complement that move by flanking to the west side with a T-95 and then a Waffenträger. And the damage going on to Bird right now is solid. This is what you want to happen because IS-7's forced out of his position. Yes, the Mouse take damage, but who cares? They've got that health pool and they've got plenty of armor.
3,200 HP, and they're going to bounce a lot of shots. And Durgil doing what he can in his S-Tank. Chase Potato gets another 164.
But this is what the whole Lorraine's about, right? Just keep putting shells out there. You may not do significant damage all the time, but you're going to consistently be able to put the pressure on, and that's going to mean more critical damage.
It's a good artillery for a map like this because you have the high rate of fire, 2, the low arc. The combination of those means a quick shell travel time, more shells on target.
And not too low, by the way. It's not too low of an arc. That's what I always liked about the French line up till the Batchat arties, is that I love the arc. It's just right for almost every map in the competitive league. You can generally find a way of making it work exceptionally well.
If it comes down to between the Lorraine 155 and the M4043, which one do you prefer?
Actually, that's a really good question. It depends on what you're trying to do. I like the Lorraine because you can complement it with a nice Batchat, scouting, and vision control. But that also, it's play style. Lorraine fits into a play style where you're going to expect to consistently be firing with that arty. And M4043 strategy, to me, seems like the kind of strat where you're going to look for 1 or 2 crucial spots and then just destroy that, right?
Right.
But let's get back to that later. The Mouse are moving forward into what we call a bowl right now. Arty's firing upon them, so Chase Potato's trying to do what he can. Oxmathis is finding out that his Mouse is just tall enough that it's really a problem, actually, to be in this defilade that he's in. And so External...
And look at this combination of the T-95 and the IS-4, 2 of the most heavily armored tanks in the game, one behind the other, going straight down this one line, waiting for these Batchats to start shooting at them.
Yep, and with that, that's why the Mouse are here. There are distractions so that this T-95 and Vetro can get into position. It's going to be very hard for the members of Dare to figure out how to deal with this effectively. Now, they will be able to damage wall hacks in the T-95, but the big question is, to Dare, can you deal more damage than you're about
and
to take?
Getting lit up, 1,700, and he goes down. That's the first pick for Elevate.
Yep, and that's this working. That's the action that we're looking for. Yes, Wallhex has just taken about 700, 1,000 of his hit points, but in exchange, right now, Dare is over 2,000 hit points behind Elevate, and they're just going to keep pressing forward, slow and steady. It's just all about that Doom Turtle right now.
Yep, and they're going to find the shots here onto Aggressor, doing what he can to angle his armor, taking a shot to the lower plate. He's down to a one-shot, 469. Wallhax also a one-shot, though, on 57 HP. He bounces a shot from the mouse. Never mind, Aggressor picks it up.
That's what we're waiting for. Yes, the T-95 just went down, but 2 Tier 10 tanks are dead for Dare. Aggressor is about to go down, and control is right there in Elevate's hands. So, this is battle number 1. Elevate attacks with a slow and steady lineup, and it's working. Still working right now.
They have plenty of HP to play with. They're up by about 3,000, and they're chewing away at these tanks. They find the kill onto that Artie of Chase Potato. My Little Putin being focused out next. 1,400 onto him. One more shot. He's going to go down. Aggressor still alive on 29 HP.
It's like, what are they just ignoring him at this point? That's what I'm wondering. It's like Aggressor, or actually no, he's just playing incredibly well. Nice shot. Vetro gets him. I think that was that HE, maybe.
No, that was APCR. Aggressor tried to get a shot off there, hoping that they were still reloading, and Vetro very quickly snapped up and got the shot onto that gun mantlet.
And My Little Putin knows that it's over for him. He's on reload. He's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, except behind a wreck of one of his allies, and that's not going to do it. Now Nationwide is stranded off to the east, where he is unable to really assist in this fight. That, I think, is probably a point we can look at, is that Elevate was able to catch Dare's defense open when Nationwide was not in a position to support. If that mouse might have been over in the west, things might have been a little different.
Well, I think the biggest problem here for Dare was the lack of vision. They let that T-95 get point blank to him before he started taking shots, and by the time he closed, the second Durjo fired on that red line, he got spotted, and the second he was spotted, he got evaporated by all 7 guns from Elevate.
You're right. If Dare had been able to have more spotting control and better vision on the map, they certainly could have probably stood a better chance in that fight. But that's not what Dare went for. Elevate, on the other hand, went for a lineup that, well, seems to have worked. They only lost 1 tank, and for it, they kill all 7 members of Dare. Battle number 1 starts off, I think, it's comically explosive in the fact that it was just so slow. It was just like a hurricane.
Well, that's what happens even with the T-95 speed buff. No matter how fast they make it, it's still a Doom Turtle. But still has Turtle in the name.
Yeah, and it's still it's fast enough now that it's viable. Before, I think it was too slow, just barely too slow. You needed just enough mobility that the tank can actually get somewhere on the map and make it from one cap to the other. Right? You've got the 10 minutes. You need to get to cap number 1, execute that strat, and you need to be able to audible out of that. And now the T-95 is fast enough to do that and to actually make a push down the 2 line with an IS-4 right behind it.
Yep. And you have to remember that, well, you touched on the fact that there's a 10-minute round timer here. In normal pub matches, you have a 15-minute round timer. When you step into here, you have 5 less minutes. So while T-95 is a bit more viable with those full 15 minutes to get around, when you have a short time on your hands, having a lack of speed can be a real detriment to your team. Now that it's been buffed, it finally becomes more viable. Now, looking at stats here, external, 3K, 1 kill, and 60 fantasy points. Vetro in that IS-4, putting up almost 100 fantasy points as well. Looking at the second page here, even Dodoma in the bat chat got 3 kills, 60 fantasy points, a solid start there. Burden Fungus and Mactap Putin both struggling for their team. To be fair, though, Burden Fungus was essentially the anchor in the middle of the field. He got bullied a lot by those 2 mouses. They handled him expertly.
And that's the thing about that strategy. When you put a tank in the middle, like an IS-7, even the mouse that we just saw, you're going to take damage. The map used to be designed in a way that you could get away much easier with spotting only, but now they've made it so the gradient of the hill is such that you really have to expose yourself somewhat more to one angle or another in order to get the spotting you need. So what I'm saying is it's not as safe. And as we go into Proc again, what lineups they bring, I think, are going to be telling. Because if we see more T-95 from Elevate, I wonder if Dare's going to start figuring out how to deal with that, maybe change up the RD pick. But, Brox, before we get into more of that, why don't you introduce us to the lineups?
Yep, I almost thought we had a mirror matchup there for a second, but 2 subtle differences. Elevate going with 2 IS-7s, a Mouse, 2 Bat Chats, an STRV 103B, and a Lorraine 155. Meanwhile, Dare, an IS-7, 2 Mouses, 2 Bat Chats, an STRV 103B of their own, as well as the RU-251. That's going to be once again by Chase Potato, the main Tier 8 and Scout player for Dare Rising.
Now, you're a heavy tank player, so you'll know that the answer to this better than I do, so I'm not going to speculate. Wallhack's Lorraine 155-51 versus a Mouse. How scared are you as a Mouse player when you see that artillery piece on the field?
Remember how our question of the day is the most underrated Tier 10 tank?
Yeah.
To a certain extent, I feel that the Lorraine also falls into that category because its alpha is so low. What people underestimate is the rate of fire and how many shots they can put off. So yeah, even if they're only chipping away, 300 or 400 at a time in that Lorraine, it'll add up over time. And as a Mouse driver, what happens a lot of times, they take, one shot, no big deal, it's 300 HP, I have 3,200. The problem is if you give it a couple minutes to fire, 4 or 5 shots, that adds up. That's over half their HP after a while, especially if they're getting consistent lights and shots. And so that's definitely something they need to look
shot.
at.
Sorry, early on, Master Putin caught out by some early spotting from, I believe that might have been to Doma. He was making some loops on the west side, and because of that, a little early damage to chip away at that IS-7, so it's not a huge deal. But Bird and Master Putin have taken a little damage right now. They have a higher health pool, and a little early damage is good for Elevate. Also, a lot of indications for what the strategy is going to be.
Yeah. And the short answer to your question is, if you don't respect the Lorraine already enough as a Mouse player, it's going to be your pitfall. So as long as you're being smart, you're moving around, you're aware of it, you're trying not to be lit, then no, you shouldn't be that worried about the Lorraine, as long as you're doing the things right that you need to do. However, if you underestimate it, that's the second it's going to get you.
Gotcha. So we'll have to see how this Lorraine performs. Right now, we've got a view on wall hacks as well as God Emperor Brett. We're going to be seeing where spotting comes up for Elevate.
All right, let's go ahead and take a second, because there's going to be a lot of Elevate fans out there right now. Let's go ahead and take a second and just kind of go over the dynamic of this roster.
All right, let's do that. A little deep dive into them, because we're going to have a moment before these Mouse make enough distance for their attack. Because as you can tell right now, Dare looks like they're about to start their push.
Yep, so Wallhacks is their caller. His job is to decide what they're going to do, when they're going to move around, whether or not they want to stick to the plan they have outlined, or if they need to change it up in Audible. Then you have their main heavy tank player in Ox Mathis. He's consistently through and through in a heavy tank. Even when they only bring one of them, it'll typically be Ox Mathis that plays it. Then you have the trio of Dodoma, Canadian Impact, and External. They're the flexible ones. You'll see them a lot in bat chats, especially on some of these more open maps, as well as some of those tank destroyers like the S-Tank. And then you have Vetro, the most recent addition to this roster. What do you think Vetro brings to this Elevate roster?
Well, Vetro's just known to be an incredibly solid player and everything. But let's table this discussion for now, Rockstar. We have the beginnings of a brawl. At least it looked like it, because Elevate just found some of those Dare tanks that had been spotted. And there, Nationwide is spotted again. Looks like Vetro's going to be the one spotting him. His IS-7 is actually equipped with a camo net, surprisingly enough.
And Durgil gets spotted again on the high ground. He takes a shot for 458. Meanwhile, Vetro's looking for the follow-up shot. He gets unspotted, though, and now Vetro's going to shift targets, or God Emperor Brett, He's going to shift targets towards Aggressor, puts another connection in there, and Aggressor's taking a lot of damage, below half HP now.
Yep, and I don't know if he's going to be able to make it to the engagement if damage keeps up like this, and it better keep up, because Elevate has those 2 autoloaders in the bat chats. They're going to go on reload, and if 2 of these Mouse don't go down soon, I'm expecting Dare might find that momentum they need. But look at this. Cap has started at the exact same time as this assault. There's an RU-251 on Cap, while the rest of the tanks from Elevate are being hung up in the northwest side of the map. In order for them to escape, they have to cross an open field. And it's going to be important for Dare, in order to succeed, they must spot these tanks that are trying to escape.
And look, the biggest difference, while this strat is very similar between what Dare ran last game and what Elevate's running now, or vice versa for that matter, look at how much sooner these Mouses got spotted for Dare Rising. They were spotted by the time they crossed that E-line. That allowed Canadian Impact to rifle off shot after shot after shot, completely unspotted, to the point where they have now killed both of those Mouses. So,
look at this, though. External. Sorry.
No, go for it.
External's made it to the other side. He's delayed the cap. Did not hit Chase Potato, by the way. Chase Potato actually left the cap. And External wasn't able to find where he is. All he knows is that the RU left cap. Now the RU is spotted. Dare has lost 2 of those Mouse we were talking about earlier. So I think Elevate's going to be able to hold on, sir.
Yep, and Burden came over and took Vetro out. And now there are 5 guns left for Dare, 6 left for Elevate, but all the HP is in Elevate's favor.
Absolutely. 9,589. You can see that on the top left and right, those 4 numbers next to each team's names. Those are the total health pools of the team. Now, Dare is sitting about 5K now. Those Mouse made their health pool rather large, and without them, the contrast is certainly there. But I should note that the total health pool for Elevate was a little bit lower, and so I'm not going to get too much into that. The bars don't perfectly line up next to each other.
Right.
They don't contrast left and right. They're actually of total percentage-wise. The bars are, at least for colors. Anyway, Elevate's going to be able to hold on. I guess that's the point I'm going for.
They're up by 4,000 HP. They have the position. They're defending. There aren't a whole lot of options for Dare at this point. But one thing I just wanted to get back to pointing out real quick is where we said last game that it was the lack of vision control on that one line that ended up costing Dare this game. And I want to point out real quick, the positioning of Elevate, where they have the Mouse, where they had Vetro and that IS-7. They spotted those Mouses before they were anywhere close, and they allowed Canadian Impact in that S-Tank to rifle off so many shots onto those Mouses. I'm really kind of curious to see how much damage he put out this game.
Yeah, I think there's a subtle difference to note between the assault from Elevate that we saw previously and Dare. And I'm glad you brought that point up. Notice how the Mouse went forward into what we call the bowl on the west side. And they were able to distract fire enough from Elevate's defensive, or from Dare's defensive positions, that Elevate in battle number 1 was able to get their T-95 and IS-4 forward, which is even slower than the 2 Mouse, right?
Right.
But in this case, Dare's attack lacked that feature. They put an IS-7 towards the middle, but he didn't aggress forward in as much as the 2 Mouse did from Elevate. Elevate's attack had 2 parts to it that are very important, and that's they created a distraction. Hey, look over here. And then what happened is they made the coin disappear.
And all of a sudden, it shows up on the other end in their face, ready to start killing all those guns that had just been firing at the Mouse.
Exactly. It's just like it's classic like magic trick,
now you see
misdirection.
It, now you don't.
Exactly. And when you do that, that's how you succeed there with Elevate. They understood how their opponent would be forced to react. Because it doesn't matter if you could tell that the 2 Mouse are a distraction, right?
It's what we call a trait in simplest forms. It's look, we know you're going to take some HP. You might even kill them. But the thing is your guns are going to be distracted, and you're going to allow us to get in close and to take out these guns just the same. And as long as you do that on your terms, you can make that work in your favor.
In this case, Dare tried much a similar strat as to Elevate, but in this case, they tried to make the fight in the west side a distraction. It didn't work out because they weren't quite able to secure the perimeter they needed. They needed to keep Bat Chats from Elevate from getting into the east side of the map. And that was where it failed. Or you could also say that Elevate succeeded, although I don't think that... which Bat Chat was? I'll check real quick back on it. It would have had to be, I believe it was External. External was able to get from west side to east side. And when he did that, that was it. When he got over and was able to delay cap, it's over.
Well, they didn't have any vision control along the middle ridge, and so he was able to escape through the low ground and along that A line outside of the vision range of those tanks from Dare.
Yeah, and keep following these replays real quick. You saw the way the mini-map was jumping around as we're skipping forward to show you kind of that time lapse. And just look at the mini-map when you're watching that one. And you'll see the way that you have a Mouse on the west, all the way in the east side, and then he's not there. You give a Bat Chat. Elevate was thinking ahead, and they did exceptionally well, evidenced by the post-battle statistics.
Yeah, Barrett in that IS-7 did 4K damage. In an IS-7 on Prokhorovka, that's almost as good as the 5K game we saw out of Vox Mathis a few weeks ago. 90 fantasy points. Burton Fungus redeeming himself after the underwhelming performance he had last game, doing 2,701 kill. Canadian Impact, 2,200, second best on his team. So while he was able to get off more shots this game than Durgel did the game before, it was really God Emperor Brett that was doing the majority of the work to those Mouses, it looks like.
Yeah, and I want to note something that you don't get to see in the post-game stats there is that Vetro blocked about 3,130 damage with his IS-7. Something that I was following early on. He was wiggling around in that IS-7 being a tricky target. And so being able to position yourself appropriately in an IS-7, bounce your health points and then some in damage, that could be the difference between a steamroll happening from that attack and it falling flat on his face. I think that contributed to it.
Right. And you were just mentioning Vetro in the IS-4. That's one tank that a lot of people are going to say is underestimated at tier 10 because it's such a hard tank to dig out. And well, we're speaking of underestimated tanks. We have some answers to
the
the question
Foch
of the day.
155 and the Centurion Action X. The Foch 155, I totally agree with. After it came out originally and was incredibly powerful, the devs realized this and reined back some of the statistics on it, try and bring it in line with other tanks. And it kind of fell out of style.
My problem with it is the question is underestimated tier 10 tank, and the Foch, it doesn't perform that well. So while it's a tank that can certainly be played decently, I feel like it doesn't necessarily feel underestimated if that's how it always performs. If you get what I'm saying.
It's a decent tool if we use it appropriately, but yeah, it's the inner shell, right? The time between shells is a little bit longer than most people would like, and so it's hard to play with. A lot of players don't have it fit their playstyle very well, yeah.
Right, absolutely. So up next, we're going to have Derek try to do something that no one has done all season, and that's beat Elevate on this next map.
Mines, a small summertime map with lots of hills, rocks and other cover. The teams start the battle in the usual locations, but the base locations are different. One is located in the bottom part of the village and the other one is in the water. One of the key objectives is the center hill. That's why the teams will often select fast vehicles and tanks with strong turrets for cover.
And to start this one off, guys, after we take a look at the lineups Rockstar.
Elevate, 2 Mouses, a Type 5, a Batchat, a TVP, a Type 4, and a T95. Wallhack's really liking that T95. Dare Rising, 2 Mouses, 3 Batchats, a TVP, and an M40-43.
All right, and we're going to start this one off with the listening.
No.
Okay.
First, my assist, HTTP.
I'm
loaded.
TP's right there.
Nobody is going island.
Should I still do it? I don't think I can.
No, he spotted.
Yeah, I
he spotted
can.
you.
Yeah.
3 broke over here. 3 broke down there.
We want the heavies to do. You want the heavies to come up or no?
Probably T95 down there.
I don't think. Yeah. Come on, play islands. Putin, keep spotting so this Bishop is not crossing. 2 mice is getting second cap. Nation do this boost. Can you try it?
That's a really big flex for us. You gotta give us a sec.
Putin, keep spotting so the Bishop is not gonna cross.
I'm spotting the cross.
Make sure the
Okay,
Badger
that's
doesn't
it.
sneak up on me whoever's on the hill.
I'm spotting this. I'm spotting lower ground. Old heat nation.
Yeah, I did.
They're gonna light us moving out. I'm probably gonna get shot.
T95 fire.
Spotted both the mice leaving.
Yep.
I'm
You still
aiming
want
at
us
the
going
mouse.
second cap? They spotted us.
Fired.
They're gonna try to take. Heal, guys.
That's not the question. Do we still want to go second cap or no?
I would say try to play this because we have Bishop up on this boost.
I'll spot from in front of the bushes.
I'll shoot. I got spotted.
All right.
Makes no sense. Sure.
That means maybe this bat got onto the boost, so he's here. If
I don't think he
aggressor
did.
I think it's the mouse.
Let's go, guys. Can we push down low?
Type
Can we
4.
push down?
Yeah, we're
Tree
we're going,
fall
we're
by
going.
the rock
Play
where
second
the
cap.
Type 5 was spotted. He broke the tree. He's hiding there.
Yes, spotted again.
TP, can you rotate to the islands and cover this? How you
I can try.
normally play. 2 mices, get down low, get on second cap. Come on, they have a whole team here.
Yeah, I'm spotted and moving. They know. They know what's coming.
You ready to get hit by T95 and K2 by the rock?
I mean, it's whatever. Hard to shoot able to fuck it up though, right?
Hopefully.
We're probably not gonna light it.
Well,
What?
if
I
I
mean,
take
if
a
you
shot,
shoot,
just
just get
fires.
light.
it's there.
I mean, what are we gonna do with T95 there, Putin? He just reset, no problems.
I mean, they can reset with the Type 5s. That's already not.
Oh, yeah, he actually can hit that. Lol.
All right, and it sounds like Dare, a little bit low energy right there. I think I'd describe those comms. But
And that's kind of surprising coming from a team that needs a result tonight.
Yeah, often enough, younger teams tend to have a lot of energy, and it's a little cheesy, but that kind of fire. And here we go, Gunner per Brett in that Type 5 is going to be an effective tank to defend the cap. He only has to touch a mouse in order to damage it.
Well, and the other thing is this T95. Another thing that people forget about is it has a giant gun, and that giant gun fires giant HE shells, which giant HE shells, if they're good for anything, it's resetting cap.
Yeah, and here's an example. I think you're watching the POV of the Type 5, right?
Yeah.
Or is that the T95?
No, it's T95.
Oh, yeah, T95 is a good choice as well. But it doesn't look like he's firing HE.
No, he fired one, and then he switched, I think, because he was hoping to get a side shot because he's playing time. If the cap gets close, I expect to see the HE come out.
Oh, okay.
But for now, I think he's going to APCR.
I want to see this Type 5 heavy from Brett. Because that tank, I've been playing it on my Sheriff, it's disgusting. You can do amazing things in it. You just have to reach out and touch something.
Yeah, well, especially on city maps, you get point blank. It doesn't matter who's side scraping, who has great armor right next to you. It doesn't matter if our mouse is side scraping perfectly. You can still do 500-600 damage just by shooting it.
And what I actually am a little bit upset with is, and you know what, it might be unwarranted criticism, but I wish Brett was letting his shot zero a little bit more. Just letting it zero in, and you can slow roll forward maybe.
Well, with this amount of time, he's just playing I want to try to not take damage, and there comes another HE shot out of wall hacks onto, I believe that was Aggressor. But anyways, we see your point. What he's going for is he has plenty of time. He doesn't want to take damage, and if he fires enough shots, accuracy by volume, one of them's going to go center mass, one of them's going to hit target. So he's not necessarily relying on pumping out a lot of damage.
It's one of those things where the Type 5 zeros shots very quickly once you get settled. You just have to, that 1 little second. But that 1 second, you're right, can be the difference between going down.
And Aggressor is doing a great job at screening because so far Burden Fungus has the cap points and Wallhacks has not been able to hit him. And now External's going to come forward and he's going to find the shot onto the lower plate of Burden Fungus and get the reset.
There we go. That's what we needed. And you actually got a Bat Chat moving out to the west right now. Canadian Impact taking about half of his hit points, paying the toll, as it were, in order to shift position. And so right now, if you're looking at it, Dare is lower on hit points, but Elevate isn't exactly looking like they're in the most comfortable place right now. This is still possible for Dare to make this attack work. They just have to keep those mouse alive, and which they're doing well enough.
Wallhacks eyeballing that shot. He's waiting for Durgel to make one move. Now he's unspotted, and he's just going to give up on it.
And this Artie cover, this is something that definitely is something to debate, I think, as far as Dare. Like, when they leave this match, they'll probably be sitting there going, was this Artie is worth it, or maybe another mouse? Would a Type 5 of our own have been effective?
Well, look at the HP pools with 4 minutes left. They're dead even, and that's not easy to do if you're Dare because of how much HP that Elevate brought between the 2 mouses, the Type 4 and the Type 5. That's between those 4 tanks. That's almost 10,000 HP.
And there you go. You can see Artie's raining in on God Emperor Brett. If they can take that Type 5 out, that's a tank that could save Elevate from a cap out. If they can get that tank down, I think that's where this goes. What is the next move for Dare? What do you think is the highest priority they have right now?
They need to find a way to open up the one line or the hill. They have to open up a new angle than the one they have right now because Wallhacks is sitting here getting resets.
Oh, look at this. Sorry, interrupt. Master Putin just went up to the hill, Rocks.
Yep, he's going to go take on Vetro 1v1 up there. MacTap taking a lot of damage down to 3 HP. He should have the kill shot. He does. Survives. Gets the kill onto Vetro. External finds another reset onto Cap there. And both of these mouses on Cap almost below 500 HP for Dare Rising.
Yeah, and Dare is now at 5k hit points. That's not good. If Master Putin can find some hits somewhere, that's amazing. But Dodoma and the Type 4 should be able to deal with him. Master Putin peeks out at the wrong time. Here comes Dodoma. Connection takes out that Bat Chat. That is the first tier 10 down for Dare, even though they're at almost half the hit points of Elevate.
If anyone has Wallhacks on their fantasy team, they're going to be loving life right now because he has gotten reset after reset after reset. He's not going to be able to find the shot onto Durgel if he makes that cross.
External will, though. Oh, God Emperor Brett with the connection. And guess what? TVP doesn't have thick armor. Wallhacks, though, also picking up a kill onto Bird from down range. This is quickly falling apart for Dare. Solid hold from Elevate. It was precarious at moments, but I think Elevate figured out the strat. The Type 4, the Type 5, and the T95, along with some mouse. That is a difficult strat to kill. There's so many hit points and so much damage. You barely can make a dent.
The thing about Mines is, while it is a very small map, it relies upon opening up new angles. If you look at the positions that Elevate had, they had the map control. They pushed around across the 6-7 line. They got up north. They had the mouses in position to take the hill. Then they moved them back to deal with that cap. They had the Batchats take the hill. They had the control from the 4 line over the whole game.
Oh, here comes Dodoma.
See if you can find it? No.
Short. Oh, look at that. He does find it. Sliding down the hill. Dodo with the style shots. Come on, Rox. Tell me that wasn't cool.
That wasn't.
And look at this. Wallhacks is showing us how to drive a T95. You drop the base, and you let it roll.
He also shows us how to track teammates, stopping Brett from farming more fantasy points.
Yup. But I'm all about that T95 wubs. Wub 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 wub. I want to get like a little like air horn in here. Do 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 do.
Showing teammates how they love each other.
Docking.
Touching tips.
There we go.
Wow.
Hey, look at that. Chase is able to get a shot. Connection out of Canadian
Gets
Impact.
denied the kill, though. Still alive on 94 HP, and Canadian Impact's going to go diving in there knowing that he just fired.
If Chase rams Canadian, he actually can get the kill. Yeah. And there we go. 1-for-1 external with style against Canadian. And that's going to be a 3rd win for Elevate, formerly Apex. Which, by the way, let's take a moment here. It's been a little ways into the broadcast. If you missed it, Apex became Elevate today, guys. They picked up a sponsor. We had an interview earlier. Feel free to check that out. They've also been announcing it on Twitter. Feel free to go there.
Yep, and one thing I want to get to real quick is Apex, like I said, they haven't lost a game on Mines all season, provided they've only played now 5 games on it. They still haven't lost at all, and no one's found any answers. And the thing I love about it is every single time it has been a different strat.
Yeah.
So they clearly understand Mines. They're saving it for down the road, I think.
I really need to think back and probably ask one of the Elevate guys which one of them it is. It's probably Wally, but someone clearly has played mountains of Mines from Clan Wars. I don't know if Wally spent a lot of time in a clan that played Mines a bunch, but you can tell.
Yep.
You can see the layouts, the strategies, the adjustments. They seem like the traditional, this is how you play Mines calls, and they're doing it really well.
Well, and the other thing to remember is High Voltage Caballers. When they formed, what they said was Mines is going to be our map from the get-go. They played that almost every match day until no one wanted to play the Mines anymore.
They say Mines is Mines.
Mines is ours, exactly. Mines is mine. They dominated on it for match day after match day. And that really, a lot of these players come from that team. Ox Mathis, Wallhacks, they were all over there. So it's, not too surprising, especially with Wallhacks being the color. And remember how I said Wallhacks farming those fantasy points, getting those base resets. 122, got Emperor Brett doing another 118, but External having another huge game. He's gotten between 2 of the games so far. He's gotten over 300 fantasy points. And then looking at the second page, Aggressor not able to really even get into the fight. Ox having a relatively quiet night, still getting 50 fantasy points this game. And Doma in that tier 9, doing 50 fantasy points his own. And Milo Putin, someone that had a huge match day against Aquatic M60s, really struggling so far tonight. Yeah,
the one criticism I had last time about Brett in the Type 5, he fired 19 times, direct hit 7, penetration 7. Does about 2,455 damage. The one question I have about that is, if he had spent on average maybe a half second or more zeroing just a little bit, how much more accurate and how much more damage might he have done? But let's take a minute and take a look at some of these Twitter responses. Rockstar.
Yep, 215B or Tier 10 French Heavy. I don't know how much those are really underestimated. The 215B, well, it's an awkward duck. Everyone knows that it has a laser cannon and his DPM is insanely high. So at least for me, I don't underestimate it that much because I know what it's capable of.
Yeah. I certainly agree. Let's look at Street had one right there. I missed it.
430.
Sorry. That was 430.
Yep.
The Object 430s, sometimes. I don't really feel like I underestimate it. I don't feel like there's maybe a general underestimation, but maybe. It could be he could be getting at a subtle underestimation that people make for tanks like that. It's certainly not as common.
It's the least used of the trio of Russian mediums available on the tech tree. You have the Object 140, the T62A, and then the Object 430. The 430 has the highest DPM of all of them, but remember, it's maxed out. It only has about 150 more DPM than the other tanks, so definitely something to keep an eye on. However, looking at this, apparently one T95 isn't enough for Wallhacks, bringing a second one, as well as a TVP, 2 Batchats, and 2 Mouses. Meanwhile, they're rising 3 Mouses, a Batchat, a Grill, an E4, and Chase Potato in that M4043.
All right, we'll have to see how this one rolls out. I don't know how you're going to get through, or how you're going to stop 2 Mouse, the Batchats, ZVP, and the 2 T95s. I feel like we'll see something kind of like what we saw on
Oh,
Prokhorovka
I already
all
see
over
where they're
again.
taking this. I just didn't even think about this. T95. When you see T95, what do you think of?
Well, you know what I'm thinking of right now is I want to actually take a listen at Rockstar, if you don't mind.
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it with a Elevate.
I will light him. Most likely to be crossed.
Wait, I think this mouse is going down low. Cubby.
Dude, he's stealing
Oh,
my
wait,
idea.
and I can't be Hill.
Those got blind fired.
I saw him aiming for it too.
Me and Oxford.
External, do you want to go up high and try and
have to
find
wait. The
the
mouse
beauty?
is going low. We can't go
I have
low,
a heavy
Brett.
spell on her.
We just wait.
Okay. Wait, so how much
careful
did we
of the
hit this
girl.
bet for?
The
Watch
mouse
the girl
is
for
coming
me.
low. We just have to
Five
We hit him
hundred.
for
There's the girl.
576.
Yeah, I know.
Already shot. Wait, what? I should hit my shot?
This bat may have crossed. I don't know.
No, he's fucking sitting there jacking off watching me.
Impact, there's no chance he
okay.
climbs.
I'm not lit. I
I
don't
know,
think
no,
he's
no,
watching
because
you,
the
dude.
bat's on the one line.
Wait, is this,
spotted me.
wait, was this bat able to get up?
Is the E4 here?
I
you
don't
think?
know.
He
don't
spotted me after I shot, so...
E4 must be K4, huh?
There's a chance he can get across via the red line, I'm pretty sure. No, that missed.
VIA the red line.
They have a mouse here, so we have to start making sure these mice.
Where's this other mouse? Probably under the hill. External, if you can proxy.
No, he's here.
No, he's there.
Oh, the third one.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
third
the third one.
He's probably.
Oh, I just got
Maybe
lit.
he's 8 line.
I got lit somehow.
Just be careful about Artie, but try to proxy and just put some rounds out here.
Yeah,
Eventually
I will.
we'll probably
I'm
kill
not
him.
lit.
I'm not.
Otherwise,
There he is.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
We're still watching the
Already shot.
E0
Already shot.
boost.
We could push this mouse possibly.
Artie's got to be in K4. Just kidding. we know where he
well,
is.
depends
We
how
know.
much I have in
Yeah,
K4.
Good jags, though. Good
I think he's
We-
K4.
we would
Artie's in
I
K4,
think-
boys.
Yeah,
Are
we
you
know
sure,
that.
external?
Yeah, I know that too.
We
now.
could bring the TV.
That's a clean
down,
lock, boys.
I think
I'm going to just
Actually,
go out
no.
here and shoot the mouse a bit.
we have to farm this guy and kill one line at the same time.
Well, if the
So-
bat didn't make it up, I can actually shoot that mouse, I think. and
Yeah,
that
we
would
should
be
just
good.
have the T95s move up.
Yeah, yeah,
Take
yeah.
the shot from the grill and then the batch cross when the grill shoots.
Well, I'm just gonna try to shoot this guy a couple times.
Okay,
He has
well,
no.
we have their cap and they have already. We need to hurry up.
We're wasting a lot of time.
Yep. And I have to go to the bathroom.
All right, well, I'll come one line then.
That was
I don't think that bat got out. I think he's still behind that rock. Because, I don't know, I just think he's still there.
This shot sounds so cool when you shoot them. That's why I'm shooting.
Oh God.
Just basically, if we push one line, it's shoot this, make sure Artie's not getting off a lot of shots.
I'm getting lit from something.
I might get lit crossing back, but we'll see.
Do we know where the E4 is by any chance?
Probably K4.
We should cross T95's one line.
I know, but I'm
We
getting
need to
lit
make a
in weird
distraction
spots.
of the mice first. We can't just cross two bats. It's not.
I mean,
No,
I'm,
like this
No,
guy
don't
go
can
down.
kind of play
I'm
for.
already
someone
peeked.
just
No,
blinded-
I'm already
Okay.
peeked all the way out. Like,
Me and
there's
Brett are
nothing
gonna
watching
go
me.
right now.
Grill.
I think the E4 is either over here
Wait,
or
the
he's
bats
here.
need to be ready for when the grill shoots.
Oh shit, I'm not ready.
Meanwhile, you're gonna go kill this mouse. So
Grill
don't
just
take
fired.
any
Grill
damage.
was looking at hill.
The girl actually
Line
just...
zero.
fired.
Late, right now. Cut in towards the mountains
Spread
so we
out.
don't get Artie.
We're gonna have to wait until the bat chat.
There's
E4
a
is
corner.
right
Yeah.
there.
Oh shit, I just got lit.
You got lit?
E4
Yeah, the
shot.
mouse lit.
Yeah, because he backed up way too far for the
Alright.
gap.
The mouse lights
Way
you.
close to the gap.
The mouse lights you.
Nice, good shot. External
Might
can
get Artie.
shoot the.
Oh, gonna get Artie, watch out.
We can shoot the grill if he peeks out. But the E4 may
It's
shoot.
gonna be
Can you keep
really
going?
bad, Brett. The bat's not even ready to go.
We can't
We're-
necessarily. They're all. Okay, so we got lit over here. That bat probably got out too on their side. He probably got.
Artie shot. Artie shot.
Artie?
Anyone's
E4
gonna
shot
have to
like
go for it, dude.
5 seconds ago.
All right, we're just gonna go.
I got lit again, motherfucker. You're gonna have to.
Okay,
go by
we need
yourself
to,
back.
like, not
Yeah,
stop.
yeah, I see.
Okay, you need to make
Go,
room
go.
for me to turn as well, please.
Yeah.
Why did only one go?
Because I got lit super early by the mouse. The mouse is able to light this position as we're coming in.
I got double tracked over here. I should be fine.
Oh,
I think.
E4. I'm
Maybe
gonna
not.
die here now.
The bat's still behind the rock. The bat is still behind that rock.
All right.
Oh, go for it.
Okay, so right there is what you just saw was a attempted push forward, falling flat on its face, unfortunately. T-95s tried to come out and distract members of DARE on the defense, but Here's the big thing. Dare was able to spot the Batchats and the T-95s earlier than the push. So what ends up happening is, while Elevate goes for this push and it's a strong play, they needed more of the element of surprise in order to see success. And because of that, Dare is a competent enough team that when they saw the tanks that they saw, where they were, from Elevate's lineup, they knew what to do, and they executed it well enough. They managed to take out one Batchat. Dodoma decides, you know what, it's not worth it. I've taken too much damage already. I'll just be throwing my tank away, and it's a wise choice for him to hold back.
The problem is I didn't hear that communicated with the other Batchat. I heard I'm spotted, but they didn't try to stop each other.
Yeah, there was no abort called, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? When you make the call, sometimes you have to stick with it. You've seen it so many times where one tiny little detail is thrown off, and everyone in your heavy lineup just decides, "Oh, it's stopped! Don't go around the corner. There's a T-95 there we didn't expect."
Yeah, one tank gets spotted, and everyone panics. There's a quote by Patton, or is it Patton? I can't remember, but it's like best laid plans don't survive the first encounter with the enemy.
That's a classic one. That's just classic. That's as old as time itself. But yeah, that's what happens. Your plans never quite work out the way you want them to, and the whole thing is you need to be able to improvise. Now, Elevate did not fail to improvise. The only thing that happened is they made a call, they stuck with it, and guess what? Dare was a good enough team to stop them. You make the right play, doesn't work this time. Now, maybe the criticism is they should have called an audible. I think that's all I can say about that, because this battle is still not over.
External going with the slowest flank ever in the mouse, trying to find a shot on Nationwide. They do finally spot him.
Sneaky Mouse is able to make it all the way into the backfield.
He's looking for a shot. He gets the snapshot onto Nationwide, but takes 1,300 in return.
Mouse in your backfield, killing your arty. I want to see that one day, where a mouse just like YOLOs straight into your backfield. That would be dangerous.
Well, it's like, just a typical pub match where just one tank goes off by himself, but little do they know that the whole other team didn't send anyone to that direction, and the T-95 just gets, all the way down the valley of Lakeville and into their base or something other. Not spotted the whole way there.
We've all had those battles. So this one's going to
What's the middle for that? Raider, where you get on the other cap without ever being spotted?
Yep. It's a T-95 battle.
A T-95 or a mouse. Be glorious.
That's all you get it in, a T-95. Now, let's jump back and talk about the match a little bit more. This is going to be Elevate's first loss on mines. At least it's looking like it. External's able to kill out Aggressor. Nationwide is incredibly low. So is My Little Putin. So the thing is, there are two tanks on the side of Dare that could just drop off the battle. Three.
A lot of this comes down to External. He has to stay alive, and he has to force the issue here. He's the only tank in a position that can reasonably egress into these tanks of Dare and make them take damage. So if he goes down too quickly, this is going to be over. It's up to him to make this work.
Vetra getting taken out right there. That's solid cover fire. Crossfire here from Dare is just unstoppable. And that's going to be it. Elevate's going to drop one to Dare. Solid hold, good defense, good vision from Dare, and their crossfires were on point. Elevate, well, T-95 strats might need to take those back to the drawing board.
Yeah, well, it was a lack of ability to get down that one line. It's the same problem that Dare had that I was trying to talk about that we ran out of time, which is the fact that you have to open up angles. It's not simply good enough just to have tanks on cap. You have to either have control down of the south A line. You need to be all the way down there, or the one line, all the way down in the south. You have to have something down there. Or you need to have hill control. You have to have at least one of the two to make that two cap work. And, well, they had hill control, which was a huge help. They weren't able to open up that other angle, which what that south one line angle would have done was open up the position where those mouses were holding for Dare.
Exactly. And that's just kind of the way it all fell out. The Dare lineup was heavy. It had enough damage. And yes, there were plenty of hit points and armor on the side of Elevate, but look at this. The E4 is able to deal 3,300. My Little Putin in the mouse, 3,009. They get 65 and 68 fantasy points apiece, just showing that they were able to perform. Whereas the T-95s, the mouse from Elevate, while they make it onto that front page, they're not able to put up nearly as much damage because they're on attack. They have to stay on the move. They can't, and moving in the open in these mouse T-95s, when you pay a toll to get into a position, Rox, when you pay that toll, you probably pay even more hit points in a mouse T-95 just because of how slow you are.
You're exposed to other guns for longer periods of time.
Yeah.
Now that only holds true though if they make their shots count. If you're in a mouse, you have armor. There's a good chance that you make some of those shots bounce, just depending upon the driver and how much attention they're paying.
Yeah, we've seen that evidence. We were watching the EU broadcast a little earlier, and there were some mouse that were playing exceptionally well and were able to drive in the open and get their angles just right. And then there was some mouse that you could tell when they didn't quite know how to properly position their tank when in transition from
It's
one
just
spot to
because
another.
the mouse is now buffed does not mean it is simply hit battle and win. You still have to do things right. You still have to know how to angle that tank. You still have to read the map because it's a mouse. It's slow. You have to read the map and be in position well ahead of time to make it work.
Absolutely. And now we're about to get into what is battle number 5, map number 3. Let's head to it.
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map, made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for the top base, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks. Sometimes the teams choose fast tanks for spotting and base capturing.
And here we go. Elevate coming in. 3 mouses, 2 Type 5, a Batchat, and a T49. Dare Rising, 5 mouses, a Type 5, and a T49 of their own.
Oh, goodness, Rockstar.
What's going on?
But did you... What? 8?
Words, Randall, words.
8 mouse, 3 Type 5 Batchat T49s. Like, what is this meta, Rockstar?
What's going to win this game for Elevate is the fact that they have that Batchat and the T49. That's the flexibility to open up the angles. We saw that the other day in Apex's match against Top Tier, and I have a feeling we'll see something very similar in this match right now.
Yeah, but this is... Look at the hit points on Dare. I have to appreciate this. Shout out to Dare for bringing a lineup with a very
even 20,000 HP. And what was that?
That was Wallhacks catching a shell. See, Bird decided to come over and drive over at him, said hello, and then he shot at him. And then Wallhacks said, oh, hi, and then he got shot. And now he's almost dead. That's what happened.
And that's going to be Wallhacks down to a one-shot from the first game. No one even had an eye on it.
It doesn't matter. I mean, 1,100 hit points. You're 1 HE shell from a Type 5, and you're gone.
Couldn't land in the same postcode and still take them down.
The splash in the Type 5 surprisingly small. Although, here we go. The engagement has begun. Nationwide, Aggressor and Durgil are rolling on to the cap. And look at this. Vetro, External, Oxmathis, Dodoma, all those heavy tanks. You remember those from Elevate? Yeah, they're all in defensive positions waiting for this. And Aggressor and Nation...
666 out of a Type 5 onto the mouse.
I think that might be foreshadowing right there, Rockstar. This mouse position, while strong, and this little echelon deal going on is effective to an extent. This actually is going to work against the members of Dare. And here's why, Rockstar. What happens when you're clustered and someone fires HE?
You all take damage, you all get reset.
Yes. In Communist Russia, yeah, never mind. We're not going there. Anyway, Goddard per Brett in the mouse has Crossfire on the E on one side. From the opposite side, you've actually got Dodoma and Oxmathis. And here you see this. Aggressor's trying to back off. But what's gonna happen, Rock? Is he gonna make it anywhere? Is he even gonna get safe?
Well, Canadian Impact came in and clipped out Mile Putin, who's trying to get in there and open up a new angle for Dare. He's trying to get into this little pocket at F3 where he can side scrape and maybe find some shots towards those Type 5s.
And there we go. Oxmathis takes out Aggressor in the backfield. This is what the Type 5s are all about. And this is going to be a full press from Elevate. Mouse from one side, Type 5s from the other. Vetro's going to give a little ground because he's, well, low on hit points. But if you look at the mouse positions from Dare, they've actually successfully flanked.
I hate putting Elegant in the same sentence as Mouse and Type 5, but look at the positioning of Elevate. The beautiful choreography between Dodoma and Ox pushing in there, those Type 5s opposite, having the Mouse on the south, completing that crossfire, cleaning out that cap. Just beautiful positioning and making these giant tanks work together so well.
Yeah, and it's already showing its effectiveness. The spread of hit points across members of Elevate is, well,
and Canadian Impact
strong.
Has been just getting clip after clip off, putting up so much damage. If you have him on your fantasy team, you are striking gold right now.
Yes, absolutely. Now, here's the deal, man. I don't know what to say about these lineups. It all comes down to people just making shots count. This whole battle, all of this damage you've seen has to do with players understanding where exactly to fire at exactly the right time.
And while it's very subtle, what I was just talking about, the choreography, the positioning of these heavy tanks, it seems very simple. It's just two groups moving together, completing those crossfires, and then the second part is what you said, where it's just making your shots count. But they have to be in those positions to to open up each other. Because they open up multiple angles, they make those Type 5s be more effective. They have better angles. So it allows Dare to not angle as well. And that's what really opened this up for Elevate.
Yeah, like hippos trying to figure skate.
Oh,
it is elegant.
Off stream.
It is elegant, but it is also just strange.
And Wallhax actually gets the revenge shot onto Burden Fungus and takes him down. And we missed it there off camera. Dodoma drove over on top of Canadian Impact and killed himself for over 1,200 HP.
There you go, people. I think that might put into perspective how Elevate feels right now. They may have dropped one battle to Dare right now, but we listened to comms earlier. They were singing Duel of Fates from Star Wars Episode 1. Right? Yeah. That was what they were going for, which, by the way, is a great song choice, and I do approve of that. So nicely done. It's excellent orchestration. But if you're singing Duel of Fates while driving your T95 and your name is Wallhax, you're not calling. And I think that says something about how much Elevate probably feels their opponent is going to be able to challenge them, which is not much at all, Rockstar.
Well, and the other part of that you have to remember, though, is Elevate have probably gone over these strats time after time again. They all know what they're going to do before they get into that battle. They've gone over every contingency they could possibly come up. So as far as Wallhax goes in these sort of cases, it's really simply just saying, all right, go to this plan or go to this plan. It's not having to sit there and outline and micromanage everything, saying we need this batch to go right here, right now, at the same time as this. They've gone over all of that ahead of time. So there's not too much that on-the-fly calling that Wallhax has to do in these cases.
Yeah. But at the same time, when you hey, our replay is able to get that. Shout out to Rod, our replay man. He is the guy who's putting together all of those packages for us, and he's doing
awesome
an excellent
job. And look at all these fantasy points. The top 5 belong to Elevate, including Ox Mathis. 4,100 damage, 3 kills, and 91 fantasy points. Vetro, 3,885 fantasy points. Brett, another 2,900. In Canadian Impact in that batch shot. Remember how I said that flexibility is going to be key? 4K damage, 2 kills, and 71 fantasy points. Not bad there out of Elevate.
I like it. And, well, we're about to go now to... Well, we're about to swap sides in Ghost Town, and this could be the final battle. This could be it. This could be a 5-1 for Elevate, showing, well, yeah, we're still on top. Yeah, this isn't going to be a clean sweep.
Sadly, they won't get to their 8th 5-0 of the season.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, guys.
Dare, the second-place team in the league, wasn't able to take off, you weren't able to beat them completely. Yep. Sorry.
Now, I will say this is one better round than Dare had last time they played. Last time I played, it was Dare 5, or Apex 5-0 over Dare. This time, at least, they got one round on there, so steady improvement.
Yeah, so there is a contrast in that respect. The meta being shaken up always resets things, right? Because now that the mouse shakeup has happened, it depends. Do you have players who understand how to play the mouse really well on your team? If you do, awesome. If not, your team's going to suffer.
You better learn.
Yeah, you better learn. And so, well, Apex is full of players who understand how to play those heavies well. You've got
let's be real. Most of the players on Elevate could jump into any tank and mostly be fine.
Yeah, this is true. But as far as, you can play a medium tank, but you're known as a heavy player. I'm known as a light tank player. I actually play a lot of mediums as well, but the thing is you understand that we have skill sets, and people have their strengths. Not necessarily huge weaknesses, but people are better at some things than others. And, well, I think Elevate is one of those teams that every single member of that team is well-equipped to play in the new meta, and I think that is not the only edge they have, just one of the ones we can bring up.
And Elevate wishing to keep that edge on the mobility, going with only 3 mouses, 1 Type 5, 2 Bat Chats, and a T49 this time. Meanwhile, looking over at Dare Rising, 3 mouses, 2 Type 5s, a Bat Chat, and a T49. We'll have to keep an eye on Wallhax to make sure he doesn't get completely messed up again.
Yeah. Follow the scout runs. Don't underestimate the scout runs. You underestimate tanks, and that's our question of the day. Don't underestimate.
Yeah, now, well, the T49 is not a tier 10. That is a tank you do not want to underestimate or be on the other end of, because that gun will mess you up.
Dave Ethers is Murphy's Law of Combat. For example, friendly fire is not friendly. There's a full list of those. I love Murphy's Laws. Yep. It's pretty much what typically happens next to what
will
should
go wrong
happen.
Can go wrong.
Yep, and guess what? There's a billion ways to do it. And who else but the U.S. military to list off all of the ways things can go wrong? If there's anybody who does, our veterans who watch this show probably have some of the best ones. B-Ted, a shout out to you there.
Yep,
just
as well as
the story
currently gets in there every now and then.
I love the stories. Oh, he even tells some on videos. I love watching the Chieftain talks about. Yeah, yes. Anyway, it looks like we're getting close to an engagement.
Only took a minute because of these mouses, and they're just rolling forward. They're going to find Dershel, and there's just a firing squad with Dershel on the other end. Elevate just rifling off shot after shot. 1,400 damage onto Dershel.
Oh, 255 as Dershel finally reloads. And
1,800. He's in a world of hurt. He's caught out of position, and this is the problem bringing these giant slow tanks. They can't rotate, and once you go into a position, you're committed, and that, in this case, gets you killed.
Yep, Dershel not able to escape in the Type 5. Deals a tiny amount of damage before he goes down. Some shells coming in from long range, from I think Nationwide. And yeah, Elevate has taken a strong hold on the east side of the map and will be pressuring the cap. External and Vetro will be on the number 2 cap, while a few members of Elevate are going to hold position off to the east. Aggressor peeks out, doesn't take any fire. And here we go, Mouse from Dare. They're going to push on up and be screened out by Ox Mathis and Brett. Question's going to be whether or not this is successful, pays off for Dare, or whether it's really just playing into Elevate's hands.
And now the crossfire is going to be completed because Vetro and External are going to open up from cap. Only 10 seconds on the cap left, so it's going to be up to Dare to find a reset onto Wallhacks, and there it comes in finally. Now they can back off, but they've committed a lot. They've bled a lot of HP, and Burton Fungus goes down. That's 3 guns down for Dare now.
Yeah, they only have 4 tanks left alive. Nationwide can't be that effective. T-49 has enough trouble, and guess what? He's run into Canadian Impact, the last tank he wanted to see on the battlefield.
And this crossfire just executed perfectly. They baited in Dare. They knew they had to push one of those angles to get the resets. They made them commit once they got in there, and even though they got the reset, it was too little too late. These giant mouses are slow. They had walked into this trap. They couldn't run away. They couldn't angle against 3 different angles, and they took so much damage.
Canadian Impact just flipped his tank around, drifted it, and then parked his rear right in front of Chase Potato, as if just to say, yeah, we just did that. We just completely took your number 2 cap, and then we baited you into walking into our crossfire. You didn't have even a choice.
And Elevate just demonstrating perfect control, manipulating Dare like a puppet master, pulled all the strings perfectly, and Dare just not standing a chance. And that's going to be Elevate showing why they are the apex predator of the league.
All right, congratulations to them. Great way to start off your new sponsorship, ain't it?
Not bad, 5-1. Against the second place team in the league. And the other thing that we haven't lost on is this is going to open the door wide open to Eclipse to clutch that second place spot in the offline regional finals next week.
Yes, Eclipse currently sits just behind Dare in the standings, and they needed Dare to lose this match in order to give them the opportunity to win next week on Tuesday.
And that'll be Eclipse versus 07. But that's going to be next week. Up next, we are actually going to have Aquatic M60s versus Valence, a match that should be fairly entertaining to watch just because of how both those teams are. Aquatic M60s like to have fun, and Valence don't have anything to lose at this point.
Yeah, but let's recap one more time with Elevate and Dare. Dare shows up with strats comparable to Elevate's, but their strategy, their gameplay, their reactions weren't there, Rocks.
Yeah.
And oh, let's take a look at fantasy points. I want to see the post-battles, then we want to see the post-match stats as well.
External, 4K again. External had a huge night. If you had him on fantasy, it paid off. Brett, another 3,605 kills. Almost got a Top Gun in the WGLNA match. Not bad.
That's rare, too. There's barely enough tanks on the battlefield to
Especially when you have a team like Elevate. The fact that he's able to get 5 kills, he is one of the leaders on kills on the season. So just totaling up that tally, making sure he wins that category at the end of the season. And looking at the totals here, got Emperor Brett 465 fantasy points, External 453, Ox Mathis 300, Vetro 356, Canadian Impact 285.
Oh yeah, so check that out. Here, production, can you guys go back to page 1? Go back to page 1. Go back to page 1. We want to see this one more time.
Doma 360. My little Putin top performer coming in at...
Yes, they go back to page number 1. So check this out. I picked External, got Emperor Brett, Ox Mathis, and Vetro today. What's up?
Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Oh yeah.
Broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, that's how it goes, guys. That's top fantasy points. Look at that one. Elevate, just playing phenomenally. Usually you see this a little, how shall we say it, standings are usually a bit different, but they're very cleanly in favor of Elevate today.
Yeah,
That is-
Aggressor having another disappointing match day. Only 157. I have him on my fantasy team. Rip my.
I honestly feel a little bit bad in that case, but I don't want to get on the sad stuff. Dare's going to be cleaning stuff up. We're going to actually talk instead to Comps about that win. He'll be joining us here for a post-game interview. Hey, Comps, that was decisive, shall we say?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, we heard a little singing and some merriment in one of the battles. I think it may have actually been the one you finally lost. It was Mines. We listened to the comms. I like the musical choice. It was, what is it, from the Phantom Menace, a little Duel of Fates. But it seemed like Apex was having a little fun tonight.
Well, I mean, we always take every match other than the rival one seriously. But, I mean, that particular map and on that particular side, we just threw away 2 tanks. I mean, we recognized the mistake early on, and we just, went along with it. It wasn't any individual mistake. It was just they played it well, and they caught us out. So, kudos to them for winning 1 Mines versus us this season.
Yep, and then we noticed on Ghost Town, the strats, even though you're bringing a lot of the super heavies and the mouse and the Type 5, your plays seem to be a bit more developed than on the first day after the patch. How has that whole been going? You guys feel like you're adapting fine to the new meta and the changes?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to take in because basically you had to scrap everything we did at the beginning of the season and just basically start over because you need to utilize those new tanks. So we've been putting a lot of the work in. I mean, especially Wally and the guys working on strats. So I mean, we had a lot to catch up on, but I think we've done well so far.
So one final question, and this one's about T95s. For the audience out there, the guys that are trying to get used to T95, for example, what advice or what lessons have you guys learned by trying to implement T95s in your strategies that kind of apply everywhere? I'm just wondering if you have any insight on that. If you don't, that's cool.
Well, I mean, the T95 is just it's a tough nut to crack, so that's why it's being utilized. It's got probably the best armor, like in the game right now. So, and it has a pretty powerful gun. So, I mean, take it, play with patience because it's not that fast, and just aim your shots, and you should do well.
All right, and then thank you. Actually, I think that was actually a really great explanation. Thank you, Comps. I'll let you go. Any final words before I send you off?
Nope. I mean, I guess you'll see us in the finals. It's been a great season, and I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a nice cherry on top to finish this one off. Congratulations. You guys have been absolutely phenomenal. Till next time, Mr. Comps.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks.
Thank you so much. All right. As